You've been here before. Different person, same story. Different name, same pain. Different beginning, same ending. And somewhere in the middle of picking up the pieces again, a thought crossed your mind that you were almost too afraid to finish. What if it's me? Stay with me, because this message isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to set you free. And sometimes those two things don't feel the same at all. Here's what nobody is saying to you. When the same thing keeps happening in different relationships, with different people in different seasons of your life, it stops being about them. It starts being about the pattern. And patterns don't live in other people. They live in us. That's not a blame. That's a key. Because the moment you stop asking God why He keeps sending you difficult people and start asking Him what He keeps trying to show you through them, that's the moment everything begins to shift. God is not repeating this lesson to exhaust you. He is repeating it because He loves you too much to let you graduate without learning it. And some lessons don't move until we do. A person's own foolishness leads them astray, yet their heart rages against the Lord. Proverbs 19:3. Read that slowly. We make choices rooted in our wounds, our fears, our unhealed places, and then we look up at God and ask why our lives keep looking the same. But God is not confused by your circumstances. He is patiently, persistently, lovingly pointing at the root while you keep asking Him to trim the branches. Let's talk about what the pattern is actually telling you. Because the repeated relationship is never really just about the relationship. It is a signpost, and it is pointing somewhere specific inside you. Maybe you keep choosing people who need saving because somewhere deep down you believe that love has to be earned. That if you just give enough, fix enough, stay long enough, they will finally choose you back. And that belief didn't start with them. That belief started somewhere much earlier, in a home, in a childhood, in a moment when someone who was supposed to stay left. Maybe you keep shrinking yourself because someone taught you a long time ago that being too much means being abandoned. So you make yourself smaller, quieter, more agreeable. You edit yourself before anyone else gets the chance to reject you. And then you wonder why you feel invisible in every relationship you enter. Maybe you keep going back to what's familiar, even when familiar means painful, because the unknown feels more terrifying than the hurt you already know how to survive. None of this makes you weak. None of this makes you foolish. It makes you human. It makes you someone who learned to cope with pain the best way they knew at the time. But coping strategies that kept you safe as a child can become the very walls that keep love out as a woman. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. Not lack of prayer, not lack of faith, lack of knowledge, specifically the knowledge of self. God cannot heal what you refuse to look at, and you cannot break a pattern you haven't been honest enough to name. There is a woman in Scripture I need you to sit with for a moment. The woman at the well, John chapter 4, 5 husbands, and the man she was with when Jesus found her wasn't even her husband. From the outside, that story looks like a series of poor decisions. But look closer. This was not a reckless woman. This was a searching woman. A woman who kept going back to the same well, expecting that this time, this person, this relationship, this version of love would finally be enough to fill what was empty inside her. And Jesus didn't walk past her. He didn't shame her. He sat down. He asked her for water, and then he said something so quiet and so devastating that it has echoed across thousands of years. Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. John 4:13 through 14. He wasn't just talking about water. He was looking at her entire life and saying, I see what you keep going back to. I understand why, but it will never give you what you are actually looking for.
Because what you are looking for cannot be found in another person. It can only be found in me. She had been trying to fill a God-shaped emptiness with human-shaped people, and it was never going to work. Not because she was broken beyond saving, but because she was drinking from the wrong well. And maybe, if you're honest with yourself right now, so have you. Here is the part that requires the most courage to hear. The people God keeps removing from your life are not just bad choices. Sometimes they are mirrors. They are showing you something about what you believe you deserve. Something about what love was modeled to look like before you were old enough to know it was broken. Something about the version of yourself that is still waiting, still hoping, still searching for the thing that was taken from you before you even had words for the loss. And God keeps sending you back to this lesson, not because He is frustrated with you, but because He sees who you become when you finally learn it. He sees the woman on the other side of this healing, and she is so free, so grounded, so whole, so clear about what she will and will not accept, so at peace with herself that she no longer needs a relationship to tell her who she is. That woman is already inside you. She's just waiting for you to do the work that brings her forward. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Psalm 51:10. David didn't pray, God, fix my situation. He prayed, God, fix me. And that is the prayer that breaks cycles. That is the prayer that costs something, but it is also the prayer that changes everything. So what does breaking the pattern actually look like? First, get honest about what the pattern really is, not the surface version, the deep version. What kind of person do you keep choosing? What moment in the relationship always feels the same? What feeling keeps showing up that you recognize but don't want to admit? Write it down if you have to. Say it out loud if you need to. Because you cannot heal what you are still pretending isn't there. Second, ask God to show you the root, not just the fruit. The repeated relationship is the fruit. The root is the belief underneath it, the wound that was there long before that person arrived. Ask Him, what is this showing me about what I believe about love? What am I still carrying that I keep bringing into every new beginning? What part of me is still making decisions from a place of fear instead of faith? Third, be willing to feel uncomfortable choosing differently. Because breaking a pattern doesn't feel like relief at first. It feels strange. It feels like something is missing. The healthy, steady, peaceful relationship might not give you the same intensity as the painful one, because your whole nervous system was trained to associate love with anxiety. Healing is learning to trust peace, learning to stay when your body keeps telling you to brace for impact. And fourth, give yourself grace during the process. You are not going to get this right immediately. You are going to catch yourself slipping back into old ways of thinking, old ways of responding, old ways of choosing. And in those moments, God is not disappointed in you. He is still there, still patient, still teaching, because He did not bring you this far to leave you in the lesson. Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. This is not a threat, it is a promise, and it works in every direction. When you sow healing, you reap wholeness. When you sow self-awareness, you reap better choices. When you sow surrender, you reap transformation. The cycle does not break by accident. It breaks when you change what you are planting. So let me close with this. If you have found yourself in the same place again, same heartbreak, different face, I don't want you to feel shame. Shame keeps you stuck. What I want you to feel is something far more powerful than shame. I want you to feel hope. Because the fact that God keeps bringing you back to this lesson is not proof that you are too broken to be fixed. It is proof that He is too committed to your destiny to let you bypass your healing. It is proof that He sees something in you worth fighting for, worth returning to, worth waiting on. He sees the woman you are becoming on the other side of this, and she is worth every uncomfortable, every convicting, every soul-searching, every tear-stained moment it takes to get there. You are not stuck. You are mid-lesson. You are not a lost cause. You are a woman being refined by a God who does not make mistakes and does not give up. And when you finally learn what He has been trying to show you, and you will, everything changes. Not just your relationships, you change. And when you change, everything around you has no choice but to follow. Drop in the comments, "I'm ready to break the cycle," if this reached something real in you today. And if someone you love is stuck in the same pattern, share this with them. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for someone is hand them the mirror. God bless you. Just believe.